Wake up!
Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening. It depends on what time you're watching this at.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
I woke up this morning and I was having a really big craving for something kind of sweet but airy and light. And I was thinking a donut.
Donuts.
We just got a air fryer. I thought I'd go ahead and try to make some donut holes.
Those donut holes there.
I was sitting watching The Princess and the Frog with Lily the other day, and it was Tiana on there making her beignets. And I thought that might be kind of fun to go ahead and do a beignet in the air fryer.
I'm gonna need about 500 of your man kitchen beignets.
I have never, ever made a donut or a beignet or anything like that, but I love to bake, and I really kind of want to see what this air fryer can do.
What can you do?
I can show you the recipe that I'm going to do, but then I'm going to also show you the creative licensing that I may take with it too, because I am the baker and
I'm in charge now.
I'm really not sure where this recipe may take us. So let me go ahead and get dressed.
You go inside and get yourself together.
Just kind of get the kitchen a little bit ready here.
Clean up.
For me, it's going to take a little bit of time. For you guys, it's going to be like that. Just kind of roll with it from there.
Just roll.
So wish me luck.
Good luck.
Whatever errors I make, you hopefully will learn from.
If you learn one thing from me, it's this.
And let's get this going. What do you say? Bye.
Let's begin.
I have decided to go ahead and use a recipe for the beignets on a website that I found. It's literally just a random website. I am just using it as a guideline.
They're more like guidelines anyway.
Which is kind of how I do most of my cooking and my crafts and things. I don't really have like set rules on how things have to be done. So the recipe I found is on joescooks.com. I'll put a link to it in the bottom. I don't know Jo. I don't know how she cooks. I don't know if it's very good or not, but it looks like just a basic, easy recipe and like something that I could go ahead and do. So I figured that Jo's cooking recipe has got to be my my guidelines, and from there I'll work on the rest myself.
For the advice, well, that's free.
I have music playing in the background because I want to hear what's going on here in my ears. So that's why you see like the weird little earphone right here.
My life is my music now.
And if I look like I'm jamming out, I probably am. This one right now, really good song. I got Janis Joplin, Bobby McGee, me and Bobby McGee in here. So on the beignets, here's what we're looking at. She says that they're not super sweet or anything like that. She says that beignets is a French word that is synonymous with the English word fritter, which is why I kind of refer to fritters, or however you might want to make this. Donuts, fritters, beignets are all kind of like the same family. They're all really close cousins.
Oh no, we're related.
I'm your little cousin.
So we're looking at 3.5 cups of lukewarm water, 1 packet of active dry yeast. Hey, I had to look at it on here. 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 egg, 1/2 cup of milk, 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of butter that is unsalted and softened.
The final ingredient?
And then the other thing that you're gonna need is you're gonna need your air fryer plus. So that is this thing right here. Let me go ahead and get those things together and the tools I'm gonna be using.
Gotta get your shit together, man.
I'll be right back. We'll check it out. So this song that's on right now, that's in my headphones, is from The Greatest Showman. This is me. So if I'm dancing or whatever, it's because I just get carried away sometimes.
Hey, Hal, you think you're funny?
This is my butter here, and while I'm getting everything together, I'm going to kind of just let this sit out at room temperature and get softened. Usually I should just let it sit for about an hour, and then that'll be soft enough, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have that time.
Dance, fools! Dance for your king!
First step to the instructions says to take 3/4 cup of lukewarm water. And in a small bowl, you're going to combine the water and the yeast and the sugar together. Whisk it all together in a bit and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes until the yeast dissolves and starts to kind of froth up a little bit.
Thank you for doing this, by the way. Do you have any idea what you're doing?
So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is 3/4 cups of water. Here is my small bowl. The instructions said to add 1/4 cup of sugar, which is what I did, and add 1 packet of the activated yeast, and add lukewarm water of 3/4 cups of lukewarm water, and then to just kind of whisk it in a small bowl until it becomes frothy.
Stir until frothy.
Pretty frothy. The froth going on. The yeast, I believe, is all dissolved. Use the dough hook, mix it well until well incorporated.
Well, I'm flattered, but I don't have that kind of money.
Oh, see, these instructions think that I'm highfalutin, and then I have a bowl mixer, and I don't have a bowl mixer. I have a hand mixer that doesn't work very well, and I have hand mixers.
So funny.
Or I have a basic fork, and really that's what was done long before these really cute, fancy bowl mixers. So I'm going to do everything manually. I have my clear bowl there. Add the egg, milk, and whisk. Egg, thank you. 1 egg. Okay, so now it is on for 1/2 cup of milk to add to our mixture. And I am just adding that to this mixture here. So this so far, again, is my lukewarm water, the yeast, and lukewarm water, yeast, sugar, 1 egg, and now I'm going to add in my milk. So the recipe is going to call for 3.5 cups of flour, and I'm going to put that into this mixing bowl here. So what I'm doing is that this is the 2-cup mark right here. I know that there's a bunch of flour in here that's kind of like these big pieces here. And what I'm going to do is kind of I'm going to throw this through the sifter to make it like lighter flour. So I'm just going to use a large fork like this to kind of just mix things through by hand. This was a little extra for 2 cups, and I like to be precise on my flour because it's my base. I'm going to actually take a little bit out and put it back into here.
Whoops.
Just for now, because this is only 2 cups and I'm actually going to be using 3.5, so that's going to come back, but I want to make sure my measurements all look good. See, I'm kind of fluffing it up so that I know what I look at for measurements with fluffy flour. And even though I've been patting it down, that's to try to get it flattened on the top. And so now, I don't really have a sifter, but I do have the strainer. And I thought what I could do is sort of just send it through the strainer. We'll see how this works.
You're making that up.
This reminds me of rock hunting. When I would go out and do, when I would go out into the rivers with my grandpa and go for gold.
Gold, 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 gold.
We'd go panning for gold. So while I may not be able to have the actual song in here, I can tell you what I'm listening to. I'm listening to Shotgun by George Ezra. So that's why the hips. So that was 2 cups there, or no, that's almost 2 cups. This is all going to be 2 cups here. And then I need to pour another 1.5 cups in here. Oh, that's so pretty darn close. So this one here, 1.5 cups right there. And I mean, it's not so totally flat, but that is so stinking close. Cool. So let's pour some more in here because this is not my measuring area. And maybe I can sift all this through at one time. Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Now the recipe doesn't say I need to sift it, but I really don't. As having baked before, I'm not someone who's a big fan of working with very clumpy flour.
Excuse me? Baking powder?
Hi, Miss Lil. What am I doing with this? I am cooking just like Tiana and the frog.
It's me, Tiana! Tiana?
So is it exact? Absolutely not. Is it messy? Absolutely. And is it fun? Totally. If it's not fun, what's the point in making it? Son, will it be? I want to shine that red head yonder looking at me.
What does that mean? What's food scoop?
I've got the flour in there at 3.5 cups. I need to have, for salt, a half a teaspoon of salt.
Grieving salty.
The salt to the all-purpose flour. I've got my yeast mixture over here with the sugar and yeast and milk and 1 egg. And then to add the yeast mixture and butters. You don't know this, but this has been actually maybe 2.5 hours have been going by between being a mom and being interrupted with other things that are going on.
Mom!
And just, you know, everyday things. This whole project has taken about 2 hours at least.
It's just taking a little longer than I expected.
I think if you were a little more focused on what you were doing and not distracted like I am, then you would not take as long.
He made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel!
This actually says on the instructions that it estimates out for this to be a prep time of 1 hour and 15 minutes, but the cook time is 20 minutes, and I think that's going to be even less for me because I'm doing the air fryer. Keep that in mind. The prep time for this is 1 hour and 15 minutes, and I would say it's taken me about 2 hours with interruptions and things like that.
You can do it.
And I would guesstimate that this is probably about 1 tablespoon. So this is probably about 2 tablespoons. That is just a guesstimate. Because really, can you go wrong with butter? I've got the butter in there, the salt, the flour, and again, I don't have a fancy mixer, so I'm just gonna, it's softened butter, it's not melted butter, so you can see it's just gonna be mixing in there. Since I've got this mixture here, it's all remixed here with a nice little frothiness added to the top on there. Pretty.
Pretty girl. She's pretty.
And I like to kind of keep it going. I like to keep it mixing the whole way in, because sometimes when you have stuff, it might get, like, if it's got anything heavy in it, this mixture actually didn't have anything heavy in it, but like cinnamon or anything like that, it may sink to the bottom, and the sugar even on this one could have sunk to the bottom. So I like to keep mixing it the whole way out so that that is as mixed up as possibly can be mixed up. Let's update this one. But ain't that America?
In fact, I'm on my way right now to birth a calf with John Cougar Mellencamp.
So basically the instructions on this are telling me to have the mixer mix this up until the entire thing, the entire dough process is pulling away from the edge. Whew. I don't know if it caught that poof that came out, but that anytime that happens in anything, it always reminds me of Labyrinth when they go into the bog of eternal stench and like things are all blue, 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 and that's what that looked like. It's all psh.
No, it doesn't matter what it's like. It's a bog of eternal stench.
So right now it's still looking very floury.
Like floury type stuff.
I'm just gonna keep mixing that in. See, it's good not to have a hand mixer, because if I don't have a hand mixer, then I'm gonna build up my biceps here and still get to eat some really good things like beignets.
That's your hands are all!
At least that's what I'm gonna tell myself. So you can see it's starting to, I mean, I pulled that off the fork, but it's not really sticking on the fork very much. This is just the stuff that really isn't coming off. And I'm actually going to take this and start mixing up everything. And it says when it's done, you're going to put it into an oiled bowl and cover it with a clean damp towel or plastic wrap and let it sit and double in size. Anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. That's crazy. This thing's gonna get huge. So I didn't really pull up anything on the air fryer on how long to, they don't have anything on donuts, but this one is fried chocolate cookies, and it looks pretty similar to like donuts and beignets and stuff like that. So that's all I'm gonna do. Now we're getting the dough to really, now it really feels like dough. It's not feeling so floury.
You don't think it's too floury?
And all I'm doing is there's some dough that's still down in the bottom, so I'm trying to kind of just pull it up with the dough ball that I have here.
Are you inhibited about dancing in public?
So this, working it with my hands like this, I have just been working it in and working it in. It's not sticking to my hands a whole lot, so I think it's pretty well mixed. It's been quite fun. It feels a lot like Play-Doh. And I've been able to kind of just really squeeze in through there and make sure it's really mixed in through the center. All I'm seeing is dough. I'm not seeing any loose flakes of flour. And let me get another bowl. Actually, I'm going to set this one right here. Boom. It's not oiled. Dang it. What I'm going to do is take this, some non-stick canola oil spray, and then that way it coats this pretty easy. So, if you've got some aggression, this is a great thing to use.
Too aggressive.
I'm going to go ahead and put this in the bowl, and we're going to let it sit between 1 hour to 2 hours till it doubles in size. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes. So it says to an oiled pan covered with a clean damp towel or a plastic wrap. So I'm going to do that with the plastic wrap right down on top of it. My plastic wrap isn't working very well, and it doesn't have to be pretty because clearly it's just going over the dough. It's going to get thrown out anyway. So we'll put some down that way. Perfect. Bam, and the batter didn't run out. So we'll check back on this in about 2 hours, 1 hour to 2 hours, and see how it's looking. So right on, see you guys in a little bit.
Now what? We wait.
It has been, I would say, I set this down probably around 2 o'clock, and it's now 5 o'clock, so I have clearly had it in here for enough time. It has gotten significantly larger in size.
It is so big.
Just roll the dough out in long rectangle that's about 3/4 of an inch in thickness. Cut the dough in long strips and form into squares. It's got this fun, like, buttery texture. I like that. That's probably because I added extra butter. So I have some extra coconut flour, and what I'm going to do is just kind of put it all along a clean surface of my counter and try and roll it out that way. All I'm trying to do is form this into a nice, good rectangle. I think I'm getting hung up on the size just a little too much.
Size doesn't matter.
This is supposed to make 12. I need to just cut this out. It's just fun to beat on this. So now what we need to do is make at least a dozen out of this. That looks pretty good. Okay, so what this is gonna call for is it says to fry them.
Fry them.
But I'm gonna be doing these in the oven here. And so I'm going to take the tray here that comes on the oven and I'm just gonna lay it out and kind of be putting these on to the tray and then spacing it out in here. To cut these in little squares. So if I have 6, oh my gosh, I did this.
You know what just dawned on me?
I think I'm doing mini beignets. Since I'm cooking them all at the same time, I'm not really too worried about them not cooking enough. This is going to be interesting. So I think I'm kind of on my own here. And I'm not really pushing them down into this. See, they're really easy to get off. But what I'm doing is just trying to make them all about the same size. These, I'm just kind of guessing at all of this. I'm not sure how this is going to work out or how much these are even going to puff up. But I'm going to put these in there first. And you can see I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 more of these to do. Okay, so everything's on here and I am just putting them in here. I'm going to take the camera to show you guys. I have them set up on 3 racks. So for the fried chocolate cookies, it says all I need to do is to hit the French fry button, set the timer to 12 minutes.
Set it up.
So I'm gonna go up here and hit, this looks like French fry to me, French fry button.
Turn it on, boy.
Hit power, French fry for 12 minutes. French fry, 12 minutes. Starts up, let's just a little light.
And now it begins.
Smells like baking bread to me.
Somehow, you've risen to...
Alright, so I'm going to take these out and... Ooh, yeah, those got a little toasty on the top.
Ya burnt!
Ooh, they're really airy too. So what's falling off of them right now is the coconut flour. So when you get yours, that's what I'm trying to do, is sort of toss that coconut flour off as I'm tossing it in here.
Toss me.
And these were the ones that were right off of the top up here, so they were closest to the heat source. Then let's check these out here. So these feel like they're getting there. Like, let's see. Like that one might need a little more time. And these were on the middle rack. And then these have been on the bottom rack. So it's really only been about, not been that long, maybe about halfway through. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the middle rack and I'm putting it down on, I'm taking the middle rack and I'm going to put that down on the bottom. And then I'm taking the bottom rack and I'm putting that to the middle so that it's not as hot as any of them being right directly on the top.
Yeah, that's hot.
It's really hot too. Heads up, everything's really hot. So I'm gonna hit the fry button again here. Turn it on, fry for 4 minutes. And then these are in here, and since I don't have powdered sugar, I do have a mix of cinnamon and sugar. Toss them. All over.
It's not working!
So there's only 2 more minutes left on here, and I think that... You want to try one, Sam?
Sure.
Like I can actually put my fingers on this one. So there's going to probably be some coconut flour, but there's also going to be cinnamon sugar. Oh, that's sticking.
It's really good.
Yeah? You're the first tester.
I like the dough.
The dough itself? Cool.
But you can't get much cinnamon sugar.
You like it?
Yeah, there isn't too much cinnamon sugar. I thought I had some powdered sugar somewhere.
So we might just put a little bit of regular honey on it. So like you take out a bite and then you can put some honey on it and then like get cinnamon sugar so it'll stick better.
Right.
Something like that.
That might work too.
Like you take a bite out of it and then you put some honey like in there and then dip some like cinnamon sugar on it.
So this one's
like
the bottom rack. And they look even good on the bottom there. They're nice. I mean, they're perfect. And then there's these here.
There's too many ones.
Yeah, there's a few mini ones. Perfect.
Just like Tia.
Aww.
You're a beautiful princess.
Aww. And we're gonna let that sit there. And we've got raised, hot beignets. I mean, really, it's just kind of now dousing them with that cinnamon sugar. I wish I could find that powdered sugar, because man, I know we got some somewhere.
Possession of cocaine donuts.
Those are powdered sugar.
A whole thing of bread. So you can see here how they all turned out. They raised up real nice. They fluffied up. It said it was supposed to make a dozen. I didn't really count my numbers very well, but they all came out pretty well, evenly cooked and everything. But this one here has, see, you can hear a tap. I hope it's picking up on there. That you can hear that there's an outside crustiness to these beignets here.
She finds you crusty, Dave.
I'll convince her.
It's not really a sweet dough itself, but the cinnamon and the powdered sugar and the honey, all of that kind of helped too.
Sweet.
So this is the beignets once they're all done, and for a first time attempt in the air fryer, I would say the bread came out really, really well. It tastes really good. It smells really good. It's got these nice little like separated layers in there. I'll get one out and kind of show you guys here. Ooh, that is still really, really hot.
Oh, they're really, really hot.
But you can see it pulled away on the edges right here really nicely. It's got that nice inside. It's all airy and hot. It's hot, hot, hot. But you can see air pockets in there. And the dough just, I mean, it pulled apart so beautifully. And I don't know if that's because I tried to knead it so many times, or it's just the blend of the dough itself. So the nice thing is that the dough picks up a significant amount of the cinnamon sugar that's on the sides. And you just kind of dip in that.
Are they dipped in something?
So that is the beignets. And you tell me, Sam, what you think.
That's really good.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, you're a good baker.
Thank you.
I could eat this all day.
The end.